It's race number 3 of the 3-Wide Racing League Cold Hard Art Cup Series. I'm going to restart audio. Hold on. Let's try this again. It's the 3rd race of the 2020 season for the 3-Wide Racing League Cold Hard Art Cup Series. It's now time to launch the green flag for our 3rd round of the 2020 season with the 1987 stock cars. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined tonight by Connor Horn. Connor, tonight is going to be a lot of fun. This is a fast, high-speed racetrack. 2 miles around here, 100 laps, 200 miles. I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
I'm excited to see how these drivers are able to navigate this track. I think it's going to be really difficult to keep the car under you tonight. We're going from a short track at Richmond, that's I think 3/4 miles if I'm not mistaken, up to a 2-mile track that you're going to see a lot of draft happening here. We might see guys in a pack for a while, but we're also going to see these right side tires. I think they're going to really get shredded here, but it's going to be interesting to see how this racing goes today.
Yeah, tires are going to be a big topic of discussion. They were at Richmond last week. I think they're going to be a topic of discussion here this week. What will also be a topic of discussion is how fast this place is. Connor, speeds well over 200 miles an hour off into the corners here. There's been hosted some pretty gnarly crashes over the year, including one that basically ended Chip Ganassi's career. So I think there's a lot of speed that's involved in a track like this, and I think for some drivers it's a little bit intimidating. For others, they may look at this and say, hey, this is boring. Not with these cars here, Connor. It's going to be a pretty fast, crazy night. 100 laps, 200 miles. We'll head down to the racetrack here and get qualifying underway. Race Clark has had a pretty good start to the season. He's done qualifying. Drew Eisenman comes on through, turns 1 and 2 to the middle of the corner, and you can see that car hanging the rear end out. It's going to be like that all night long.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for these guys to keep the rear end under them. Getting into the corner, it's going to be really tough to keep it in check on that line. These cars are going to want to slide right to the wall the second they're coming out of turns 3 and 4. That's going to be really tough to keep that car under you out of the turns. You're going to have to watch out for that outside wall out of turns 2 and 4.
Drew Eisenman out of Texas as he comes out of the corner. These guys running really cool paint schemes this week, very patriotic schemes for the week of September 11th, and Eisenman got a really nice looking livery on that car. Across the line, will he improve? He will not. He'll stay second. Eric Mickey returned to the series last week at Richmond. He was super impressive there, as was Tanner Sharp. Sam Close is here this week. James Miller in the number 09. Another patriotic scheme. A lot of these drivers running red, white, and blue on their cars tonight, but Race Clark has been so impressive, Connor, and he is still at the top of the board right now with 2 minutes left in qualifying.
Yeah, full 10th in front of the rest of the field. No one even coming close to touching his lap right now, and he's had a really good start to his season. Definitely probably didn't get the finish he wanted out of Richmond, but he's still 9th in points, not too far back from the leaders up there. He's still got a really good shot to gain more points, and he's going to be one you're going to really want to watch all the way throughout to the end of the season here.
So with James Miller qualifying now, a couple new drivers or drivers that we've seen kind of around in this series. Brady Smith, we talked about him last week. Nothing spectacular coming out of that number 20 Thunder Chicken last week, but here he is right now qualifying, and we'll see as he comes around turns 3 and 4 if he'll have anything for anybody inside the top 10. As he comes on through, he'll get basically 1 lap to lay down a time. How important is qualifying tonight here in Michigan, Connor? It seems like this place is a little bit closer to a super speedway and how it handles than what we saw last week at Richmond.
Yeah, I think it's definitely less important than it was at Richmond. I think you can start at the back and have a better shot at getting to the front here, especially with 200 miles. You got a long way to go. This is not going to be a short race by any means. You're going to have to wait a while before you really want to go for it, and you're going to have to really keep your stuff under you here today. 200 miles, you're going to have a long way to go before you even want to risk getting close to that outside wall out of these corners.
So Brady Smith off into turn number 3. And he'll chase the car through the middle of the corner and back up onto the front straight here with 45 seconds left. We'll see where he lands himself with lap time. Currently has nothing on the board. There's just under 30 drivers in the field here tonight. Across the line for Smith at 41.694. That'll be good enough to put him inside the top 5. Indeed, it will be 5th for the 20 of Brady Smith.
And just like that, he gets bumped back to 6. I don't know if that was a 09 bumping him out or not, but Race Clark, regardless of who's getting into the top 5, he is way out in front regarding the speed of 41.51, about 0.08 faster than Cameron Rich in second with a 41.59.
It actually was Chuck Sweeting, I think, that snuck in there at the last second and stole that top 5 position, as did James Miller up into 5th. So Brady Smith will be back to 6th place now. Last couple qualifiers will be all the way down to 25th. Mike Stevens, a 42.721. Grunberg, Corey Lindsey, Brent Miller, and Ethan Reasoner will not qualify into, at least on time, they will start towards the back of the field. So time to go racing here tonight from Michigan International Speedway. You're watching Sim TV. Thanks to the Cold Hard Art Cup Series for coming on for this season. You know what's something interesting down here, Connor, is that there's actually a road course in this infield that we don't really get to see a whole lot as we have a look down here. Follows something like this roughly, and I don't really know where it goes after that, but I do know that it gets used in the Formula SAE stuff quite a bit, and I wish I could have gone to see how they lay it out, but I don't think it gets used for much else other than that. It stays an oval most of the year. So we'll head down to the racetrack here, have one last look at our weather before we go racing tonight. 101-degree track temps, Connor. That's pretty hot, pretty abrasive maybe for the tires.
Yeah, it's going to make it even worse if you're trying to keep the tires on your car. Like we said, these right side tires, they're not going to like how much you're going to be sliding into these turns. All these drivers have been getting really loose in the center of a corner when I've been watching them in practice, really snapping it, overcorrecting into the outside wall in practice at times. It's going to be really tough. We might see a lot of accidents in the middle of a corner here early, especially when all these guys are all in the pack together. We might see a big one at some point.
So as we head down to the racetrack, we've got, just as I mentioned, just over 25, closer to 30 drivers entered in this race. We're going to roll through the starting lineup here. We'll go row by row, and on the front row tonight, it's going to be the number 22 of Race Clark and the 17 of Cameron Rich. He'll start on outside of that first row.
Then on that second row, you got Drew Eisenman in that beautiful 77 Ford Thunder Chicken, as you would call it, and Chuck Sweeting alongside him with a 41.639. Then James Miller on the third row. He's back there in fifth after getting the victory last week at Richmond. He is the newest winner, trying to go 2 in a row, and right alongside him is Brady Smith.
Yeah, and 7th and 8th, 9th and 10th rolling across the bottom of your screen. We'll let the rest of those go there. I love the 17 of Cameron Rich as well. Kind of a classic look with the Boeing logos and livery on the side of that car tonight. There's the 77 of Eisenman we already talked about. Looking deeper through the field, I think there's a couple other drivers that are sharing in that patriotic spirit, including the 54 Matt Grunberg. That's a good-looking car. It's the 89 of Brent Miller doing the same as is the 63 of Mike Stevens. So a lot of really good-looking paint schemes in the field here tonight as we watch the field peel off of pit lane and get ready to go racing for the third round this season. We've been to Daytona, we've been to Richmond, now we go to a 2-mile speedway and Michigan. We were at Daytona the first round, Richmond second, and Michigan third. Looking forward in the schedule, we've got Tsukuba in 2 weeks' time. That's going to be a wild one. Then Indianapolis, Pocono, Iowa, Darlington will take us through with Charlotte ending out our month of October. Then we'll head into November and December to finish out the season here, Connor. But up onto the back straightaway. Take a pick tonight. Who you got winning this thing?
I just feel like it's going to be really hard to beat that 0-9. James Miller, I think he's going to go for another victory today. I think he's really going to be tough here to beat at a track like this, but I don't think Eisenman's going to let that happen too easily. I think it's going to be between the 0-9 and the 77.
So with the field about ready to get rolling, we've got a couple more things to go over. If you'd like to follow along, live timing and scoring is available at simtvbroadcasting.com/timing. You can follow along with your favorites in real time right on our website at the link right there. So we'll head back up towards the front. Race Clark has a great name for racing. He's also made a name for himself this season, that Dr. Pepper Ford Thunderbird, as he comes onto the front straightaway. We are about ready to go racing from Michigan. It's home for Ford and Chevrolet, and it's home for somebody tonight. Victory Lane goes to one driver, and they're green and racing from Michigan. Exit at turn number 2, side by side for the race lead. Cameron Rich noses out front as they thunder down the back straightaway. 2 and 3 wide throughout the field. Connor as they head off into turn 3.
Yeah, that was a very good move by the 17. Cameron Rich just powered his way to the lead on that outside lane. I wasn't expecting to see that big of a run up there, but that outside lane looks very tough to beat right now. 22, struggling to get any sort of grip off the corner. And Cameron Rich is shot out of a cannon here, right to the lead the first lap. We were 4 wide, or at least trying that for a moment as we come across the lead the first lap. It's Cameron Rich atop the scoring pylon, then Race Clark, James Miller, and the 74 car spinning in the background. He's going to get run into by the 44, and it's going to be a big pile up the middle of 1 and 2. That's a big crash there. 3, 4, maybe 5 cars in it as we pile them up on lap number 2. Yeah, I think that we'll have to see what happened here. But that was probably that was either a factor of people getting loose in the middle of a corner, or maybe checking up for the corner and people stacking up into turn number 1 there.
Yeah, Nick Boyd was the one that initially got hit. Here is a look at the replay off into turn number 1. I think gets hit by the 1 car. Donovan Smith turns the 74 around, then the 44 piles in there. And at that point, not really anywhere anybody can go. There's the, I think that's at the 12 of Trevor Butler.
Trevor Butler, yep.
And he had a pretty good run going last week, and not the way he wanted to end the night.
Yeah, his car's already smoking. His day's pretty much already done. You see all the smoke flying, cars flying everywhere, really nowhere for him to go. He just ran out of time to make a decision. There's nothing he can do. Everyone all over the place. You see smoke, and then you see the car, and it's already too late.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the 74, Nick Boyd, I think he almost would have had that car saved had he had a little bit more time to correct it. You see right here, he gets turned. He's got the right counter steer, and I think he probably would have saved this had the 44 not gotten into him, but nothing that the 44 of Michael Goodman could have done any different. He was just going to pile in it. Remember, the brakes on these cars are not great. And I think Donovan Smith also got kind of packed up the rear end there by the 27, I want to say, is back there, the Jonathan Cogswell. Yeah. So a 5 or 6 car incident on lap number 2, bringing us under caution for the first time today. Cameron Rich powering to the front of the field here, Connor, and he's always a threat to win in 3 wide, and especially so in this series with this very manual handling car.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can keep that track position. Obviously, Race Clark had the faster time in qualifying, but the 17, Rich, he knew how to work that outside lane. He absolutely he had a huge run off of turn number 2. He made it work. The 22 couldn't find anything on the bottom. So I think the guys behind there, Race Clark, Eisenman, everyone back there, I think they saw what that outside lane can do. I think they're going to realize how hard it is to pass on the bottom here on this one.
So caution underway here for the first time tonight. I think the cautions are going to take a little bit, so we're going to step away for a brief moment. We'll be right back for the restart.
Racing fans in Canada, the exciting highlight of the season is the Players 200 race at Mosport, bringing drivers and cars of international caliber to compete for the Players Cup and $10,000 in
racetracks used to be built with the land, not on top of it.
The race marshals round the track have a heavy responsibility. Their quick actions can prevent unnecessary pileups.
They used to flow. They used to demand respect and bravery. Some racetracks have withstood the test of time, despite changing attitudes on safety and design.
The ticket sellers, the night's work is just beginning. Right through the night, race fans from hundreds of miles around journey to Mosport Park to set up camp, to meet old friends from last year, and to make this race meeting into the most memorable
Since
one of the
1961,
year.
this stretch of asphalt has remained largely unchanged. If this pavement could speak, the stories it would tell. This is the first permanent motor racing facility in Canada, and they call it Mosport.
Welcome back live to Michigan International Speedway for the 3-Wide Racing League Cold Hard Art Cup Series as the field heads off of turn number 2. Our first caution at lap number 2 for a 6-car collision involving the 74 of Nick Boyd, the 12 of Trevor Butler, the 1 of Donovan Smith, and the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell, as well as Michael Goodman. They have gotten their cars at least mostly repaired. Trevor Butler's is out for the night, unfortunately. Not a great way to start the evening, not a great way to end the evening. So that'll be it for now for the number 12 of Trevor Butler. Meanwhile, the rest of the field's going to re-rack and restack for another green flag with 95 laps to go. We think we saw the 17 be pretty dominant on the initial launch, but we'll see if Race Clark can get power up underneath him and go to get that lead away from the 17 Ford Thunderbird driver. A lot of Fords up in the front. For Chevrolet is 4th, Jordan McKeeboy in the 21. Green flag in the hands of the starter as we wait for it to drop. 28 drivers still on the lead lap and remaining to race. As we get the green again, we'll try this a second time here from Michigan.
It's like a bit of a stack up way in the back, but no contact made. Everyone gets away clean. Had a lot of trouble with that at Richmond. It should be much cleaner at a 2-mile track like Michigan here today. Cameron Rich powers of lead on the outside. Race Clark looking to the bottom, just can't make anything work.
And Drew Eisenman's got a big head of steam coming for second place. He's going to pull even with them as they come onto the back straightaway, side by side for second. Jordan McEvoy watching from fourth. There's Sam Close up inside the top 5. Chuck Sweeting following, then Eric Mickey, Fisher, Sharp, and Brady Smith, the rest of your top 10. Look at the 21. He sees that hole up the middle, thinks better of it. He'll back out and try the bottom.
I'm amazed to see how far of a high side Race Clark went, trying to get a run off that top line like the 17 did, trying to stay alongside the 77. He doesn't want to pinch Eisenman this early. It's going to be really difficult for these guys to race side by side. But look at this 17. Cameron Rich is storming away.
Doing a great job driving away from the rest of the field as the second place cars continue to fight. Look at the, I think that is the 20. Who is that maybe green car? That's Chuck Sweeting up the middle. There's Eric Mickey on the high side. Door slammed on corner exit. Going to get a nice slipstream on the backstretch. Have a look to the bottom.
Tanner Sharp behind all these guys almost went below the white line to try to make a move. He got really loose, had to back out of it. All these guys really trying to hustle each other to get by. It's going to be really tough to pass. We're already seeing how tough it is. All these guys are using about 5 different lanes. They're all over the track right now.
Yeah, Michigan in the Cup cars tends to be a pretty single line corner, at least in the modern race cars. Now it seems like they're actually able to pretty much drive wherever, at least to find some level of grip. Take a look at this as we go through turns 1 and 2. Check the lanes that we've got cars in right now. There, and we got a couple that are elsewhere in between all those lanes. So pretty much every lane of this racetrack has a car occupying it at some point through the corner. We got a car in the wall in the background. I didn't catch who it was, but rocketing off into turn 3, it's no issue, as we got a big stack up here for inside the top 10.
This whole front pack is all over each other. Jeffrey Fisher going all the way to the yellow line to try to make something work. Same for Tanner Sharp. All these guys just stacking up. There's just a traffic jam on the freeway. There's nowhere for some of these guys to go. But meanwhile, Race Clark is closing in on the lead.
And Cameron Rich has gotten run on down and riding on board with Chuck Sweeting as we head off into turn number 1. Look at the 98 of Jeffrey Fisher way up the inside. He cannot sustain that as we got a battle for the race lead as Race Clark goes through and clears Cameron Rich as they head onto the backstretch.
There's about a lead pack of about 13 to 14 cars. Chuck Sweeting into a wall there, maybe out of 2. Almost got into Tanner Sharp. All good there. But these guys are all over the racetrack. They're practically in a 4-wheel slide in the turns number 1 and 3. Jeffrey Fisher getting a piece of the apron, and he's almost going to get into the 5. Sam Close didn't give him any room off the turn.
Oh, that got really dicey. Now we're 3 wide. Eric Mickey up top, the 5 in the middle, and the 98 on the bottom. Thinks better of it. Race Clark powers on in front. Now has a half a car length lead over second place Cameron Rich. Off into turn 1. A lot of different braking points here. Look at the 5 and 21. Drag racing off into the corner. Chuck Sweeting is about to fall victim to Matt Hackathorn as we look back up inside the top 5. Here comes the 21 now with a run on the outside in his Monte Carlo.
The 98 giving a big shove to Sam Close. I don't think he wants to be behind that 5. Close didn't give him any room off of 4. Fisher's going to try the same move. 3 wide into 3 again.
Jeffrey Fisher has been so aggressive on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to clear the 5. I don't think he got there, and Sam Close will squeeze up the middle right in front of the 21 on corner exit. Now side draft down the front stretch.
Trying to use that side draft to his advantage. It's way more effective in these 87 cars than anyone would have imagined. He's lucky he got clear of the 21, or else that would have been a big wreck with all those guys. But these guys are still all over each other, and they're still going to take probably 10 more laps to even sort it out.
On board the Jordan McEvoy now started in 7th. He stays in 7th. Up to the outside behind the 5. A little bit of wall contact there. Contact behind as well with Tanner Sharp. And light on the throttles. He goes up the outside of Eric Mickey's number 4.
Oh, it's Sam Close all over the left rear of Jeffrey Fisher. Contact almost made. These two are not giving each other any sort of room as Close is trying to get another run to the bottom, but Jeffrey Fisher's going to have the draft on the outside.
Eric Mickey now with a rear bumper full of Jordan McEvoy. Now slots in front of Tanner Sharp. And Race Clark driving away. I think he's found that speed that he lacked on the initial start. Got back by Cameron Rich, now is checking out.
We gotta hope he's not using up his tires too much, and hopefully we don't see him back all the way up to this pack again as we're going 3 wide on the backstretch again. I think that's Eric Mickey making a move all the way to the bottom. Sam Close stuck in the middle. Tanner Sharp looking for a 4th lane.
Great racing here in the middle of the field as Eric Mickey goes to the bottom. The 5 and 98 going to use each other up again on the entry to turn 3. Jordan McEvoy has a great view of all of that as the 98 turns hard left on exit to try to carry the speed. The 3 car is going to slide up. The 98 going to go for the middle. 3 wide again down the front stretch. Backs out, looks right.
Meanwhile, these guys are still racing for fourth extremely hard. The top three are away. Race Clark, Cameron Rich, and Drew Eisenman checking out from this 2x2x2 battle right now for, I think it is still fourth. These guys will not give it up. Mickey's trying to get it done. Sam Close is just trying to hold off the field.
Door to door as they come off of turn number 2, a handful of Fords and a handful of Chevys. It's a Michigan battle down the backstretch. 5 versus 4 versus 3. I think Tanner Sharp's going back here and goes, I think I come before you guys. The 98 car goes, I don't care. He's going to dive to the bottom of the racetrack now. Find that inside lane, but nowhere to go. He's going to have to wait his turn here. There's too many cars in the way.
Jeffrey Fisher down on the pecking order as far as numbers, but that doesn't matter. He's still at the top of the points for the most part. He's definitely one of the drivers to beat today, and he's really struggling. He's the only one really trying to make that yellow line, the way bottom, work, and it just hasn't gotten him enough spots yet. And the longer this run goes, the harder it's going to be to make that stick down there, so he's going to have to be really careful that he doesn't completely kill his tires here. Meanwhile, Eric Mickey, he's finally clear for a fourth position right now, but Tanner Sharp wants it.
Down the back straightaway, speeds climbing 185, 190 off into turn number 3. That was Race Clark. They've single filed out here, looking back deep in the field. There's Brady Smith on the 89 of Brent Miller, and he's going to go to the bottom and try to carry some of that speed with him. James Miller is in behind him, and Miller started in 5th. He's dropped all the way back to 14th after making a pit stop on that first caution, and now has a long way to charge through the field. Look at him juke right as the 20 jukes left.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that anyone even came down for that pit stop. Only a lap and maybe a quarter on the tires, but he decided to get those fresh tires. And I think it was way too early, obviously, to come in, but we'll see what he can do here. Still trying to get around the 20 machine right now with Brady Smith.
Race Clark's lead still expanding at just a couple hundredths of a second a lap. Cameron Rich is second, Eisenman third, Mickey fourth, Tanner Sharp. Look at this battle down the backstretch. Who is that in the middle of everything?
Trying to figure out, I'm not quite sure.
It's the FedEx car,
zero?
Tyler Nissel. He was in the middle of a 3-wide situation there with Michael Goodman, Jeremiah Llewellyn, and Corey Lindsay all having a look.
And that was pretty close. Nissel leading this second pack right now as they're trying to get back to the leaders, I would assume. They're very far back at that lead pack, 6 seconds up to the race car. Actually 7 seconds that time by the top 16 are separated by about 4 seconds, and this group of drivers really need to get something going if they want to get somewhere close to the front of the pack right now.
Matt Grunberg, one of those drivers in this pack. There's Donovan Smith involved in that first collision. Mike Stevens, Nick Miller, another one of those blurry motorsports cars. Back up towards the top 5. This is for 6. Sam Close and Jordan McKeeboy having a look to the bottom.
McKeeboy trying to make that bottom work. I saw him way at the top for the most part. I think he couldn't get off the top lane. He's really trying to make that bottom work. Doesn't really have much of a run. But meanwhile, the battle right now is for third. Drew Eisenman's being caught. Eric Mickey and Tanner Sharp are all over each other.
Hunting for grip off into turn 1. Mickey's going to dive to the inside. He's got overlap here. He's going to push up the racetrack. Eisenman's going to try to pinch him down. They're chasing each other to the middle. Both of them want that middle groove. That's where the speed is here in Michigan. Now Tanner Sharp should be able to carry his Monte Carlo with some momentum to the inside or the outside. He's just got to pick one here.
Oh, we had contact down the backstretch. I'm not sure who that was. Brent Miller and Matt Hackathorn made contact on the backstretch. They were able to save it. That was extremely close.
Let's have a look here as we go back a little bit just to find out what happened. Yeah, Brent Miller. Ooh, that was Brent Miller and Hackathorn. They got into each other. They're not exactly sure what led to that. Here's another look.
It's really hard to, even down the backstretch and front stretch, it is tough to maneuver these cars, and I don't think that was intentional at all. 84 came down a little bit, and 89 came up a little bit. I don't think there's anything intentional there. It's just really hard to keep these cars in a straight line sometimes.
Definitely. Here's for third again, Eric Mickey, Drew Eisenman now battling for that podium spot for the bronze. Cameron Rich has got silver up the road just a little bit. 18 laps complete already. This race is flying by. But the 4 of Eric Mickey is going to fly right by the number 77 car. You know who's flying in front of them? The Boeing car. That's Cameron Rich.
Oh, and the 77 all over the back bumper there of Mickey, not giving up too easily. Got to be careful of the bump draft. And these, sorry, car lagging back there. I was mistaken. There's a 3-car tandem almost down the front stretch. You got to be really careful locking bumpers.
Tanner Sharp saw an opportunity, and he went for it. Right on the apron on the front straightaway. It speeds over 180. He grabbed that spot. Now he's going to run side by side with the 77. Almost a touch there, trading that patriotic pain as they come out of turn 2.
We know how aggressive that 3 machine wants to be, and he is doing nothing different. I think Jeffrey Fisher got a bit sideways down the backstretch again there. Tanner Sharp, we know how aggressive he wants to be. He wants to get up to the front, and he wants to do it now. More contact made.
They touch off into turn 3. Chevrolet versus Ford. The Chevy prevails for now, but did that maybe peeve Eisenman just a little bit? I think contact is expected to some degree, Connor, but this is pretty early in the race still.
Yeah, but it's just really hard for these guys to drive side by side. The tires are going away, lap 20 on most of these guys' tires, and it's going to be really tough to stay side by side. I think that there's really no other room to do any sort of racing. I think there's not much to do on the way outside line or the way bottom. Jeffrey Fisher couldn't make that bottom line work, so I think everyone's just going to really be pinching each other off for the most part.
Looking a little bit deeper into the field, I'm seeing a couple other battles going on. The 11 car of Skylar Nissel right in front of Matt Grunberg, and they've got Corey Lindsay, Michael Goodman tucked in behind. Michael Goodman was the driver that got into the back of one of the cars in that lap 2 collision. A bit of damage on the nose of that car, but it's nothing too severe, and he's been able to continue without too much pace differential to the drivers in front, as you see Grunberg drop to the inside of the Monte Carlo of Skylar Nissel.
Yeah, a lot of good battles throughout the pack, kind of getting sorted out here. A lot more single file than we saw, say, 5 laps ago. I'm still looking at James Miller in that 09 machine. One of a few drivers that take tires on that last stop. I think he hit from 3rd. He is up to 11th at the moment. Someone way low, all the way on the apron. That's Kevin Finn in the 14.
And dropping down a few spots, he's going to let the 26 of Chuck Sweeting on through, and Jeffrey Fisher, and bring James Miller, who you're just talking about, into that fight as they come off at turn number 4.
Oh, and they're going to get really close, almost 3 wide there. That 98 machine is still chopping to 09. The 98 all out of control. I was about to say Jeffrey Fisher has been dropping. He was battling for a top 5. He's falling outside the top 10, maybe even the top 15. He is struggling right now.
98's looking a little bit erratic, especially around that 09. That's a teammate in the 09 car. I'm not sure I'd be driving like that, but I'm not sure if that car's just that out of control, or if there's maybe some history between these two in this race that we have missed a little bit of. But this great scrap is all going on behind the race lead. Cameron Rich has run Race Clark back down, back and forth, bring Eric Mickey and the Chevrolet of Tanner Sharp to bring up the 4th Thunderbird party.
Yeah, I think the Nut Fisher is just really out of control, really wore out the tires. Meanwhile, yes, the battle is for the lead right now. The 22 got chased back down. Cameron Rich wants that lead right back, and he might have some drafting help with Eric Mickey. I think he's going to want to get to the front already right now.
Into turn 1, Cameron Rich to the bottom of the racetrack. Boeing versus Dr. Pepper. Through, and can he get clear of the 22? Just barely. He'll slot up in front of him at the exit of turn 2. Race Clark trying to get the nose back there. He will, as they head off into 3.
And Mickey's going to follow him. Tanner Sharp up there now 2 by 2 for the lead into turn number 3. Mickey all over the back bumper of that 17. That inside line, I didn't think it was going to be too strong, especially with the run that the 17 got on the initial start. But the inside line is going to get him back to the race lead, but he's going to slide up out of turn number 4. He's going to go down the block, Eric Mickey.
Great racing at the front of the field right now. This is spectacular stuff. This is the kind of stuff I wish actually happened in the 80s. I'm not really sure that this kind of racing really existed, but man, it is good and it is fun to watch. This is certainly better than any Cup car race I've seen with any modern car in the last, 2 or 3 months on SimTV at least.
Yeah, it's definitely something we wish we could have saw the doubleheader that NASCAR had. But meanwhile, this battle's not over. Yeah, Eric Mickey wants that lead. He dives to the inside, trying to pull a slide job, and Race Clark going for that same piece of real estate right now, and the 4 is going to make it work, put Eric Mickey to the lead.
Eric Mickey's got the spot as they come out of turn number 4. Now Tanner Sharp looking for a 3rd place position. Come across the line, and next time by will be our 1/4 mark. That's how fast this race is going. 1 caution slowing the progress. Since then, it's been clean and green. Mickey, Cameron Rich, Tanner Sharp, Race Clark, and Eisenman. And here comes Jordan McKeeboy. Sorry to cut you off. There comes that 21.
Yeah, McKeeboy's really making a run here. He might have saved his tires. Speaking of saving tires, I think that's what Race Clark didn't do. He had a decent lead, and now he's falling back almost outside the top 5 as Eisenman's going to go for that 4th spot now. Is trying to see another battle at the back of the pack. Chuck Sweeting's got a whole mirror full of James Miller right now. Miller, those new tires might finally be starting to pay off.
You can see the eyes of the driver behind. Their hands are up on the wheel. Come out of 4, going to dive to the inside. A little bit of a block there by the 26. He'll chase him down the racetrack.
Seems like James Miller right here is content with bumping and bump drafting him. They're being careful with the bump drafting. They're making it work. That might be by design, but you got to be careful. If you hit them too hard, they're going into the outside wall and you're destroyed. And you might be going for a blowover as well.
For 4th place, Eisenman. And actually, that's for 5th. McKeeboy just trying to keep the nose out there. Eisenman leaves him the space. McKeeboy will rocket off into turn 3 to try to carry the momentum up the outside lane. He will, but can he get the car turned quick enough to beat the 77 up off the corner?
Yeah, he's the only one really trying to make that way outside lane work. He doesn't get the position, but he's going to go crossover. Now he goes to the inside trying to get the Eisman. Not going to try to side draft, just going farther down to the bottom than he is. Now he comes up to get the arc into the corner here.
Good battle here, the 77. Still, I think, in the advantageous position. Are they going to touch? Not quite, but the 77 pinches McKeeboy down at corner exit. He goes through back to 5th. Meanwhile, in behind, Brady Smith and Jeffrey Fisher. Jeffrey Fisher has completely lost all the pace that he had. I think the erratic driving has burned the tires right off this 98.
Yeah, he's really been struggling for about 10 laps now. He's even struggling down the front straightaway here, so he's just trying to hope that either maybe he gets a yellow, maybe he has to short pit for tires. He has not had a fun time on this run. He is really struggling. He's got to get some sort of stroke of luck. And meanwhile, at the front, I believe Tanner Sharp might be the next one to have a run for the lead here, but that A4 machine, Eric Mickey's looking strong.
Eric Mickey has a 4/10 of a second lead over Tanner Sharp. Here's a battle for 8th spot. There is James Miller in the 09. He started in 5th, pitted early. Now he's back to 9th place, looking at 8th. Big bobble by the 26 as they come up off turn 2.
Yeah, James Miller, he's been bump drafting Chuck Sweet. I'm just wondering when he's finally just going to go for the pass, because he's got someone right behind him. That's Brent Miller in the 89. Three cars right next to each other. The 89 actually has a little bit of damage, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much.
I think it's Jordan McKeeboy that's having some internet issues up the road, which is causing these clouds of smoke. And I know in the past they've asked drivers to pull off that have issues like that. We'll see if it becomes a deterrent to McKeeboy's success here this afternoon. As we'll look a little bit deeper in the field, find Alex Boyd in the 10 and the 87 of Richard Hines in a very classic-looking Thunderbird.
There's so many good paint schemes on these cars today. Looking at these guys back here, kind of, I wouldn't say no man's land, but these guys are kind of just hoping for something to happen right now. Speaking of something happening, 98, Jeffrey Fisher is really slow at turn number 2. He might have almost gotten up a wall. It seems like, I'm not sure what happened. He might have a flat tire even, I'm not quite sure.
I think he might.
Way off the pace.
I think he might have a flat tire. I mean, he's going really, really slow.
The sound effect coming from the car, it sounds like a tire, and he is not getting, he's 130 in the middle of the corner. Donovan Smith is 150. That 98's got some sort of problem and is big, and they're only about 30 laps on the tires.
Well, if he hasn't blown a tire yet, he's about to as he comes across the line. That car is all out of shape. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear it.
I wonder if that's I don't know if that's a rear. I feel like it's still a
I feel like it's a left. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
But he's definitely off pace.
Yeah, he's all the way back to, I believe, he's going back to 27th. Ethan Reason are going by him right now.
He's got a blown tire. You can hear it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tire, and he's just holding on. I don't know why he didn't hit last time, but he's definitely got to come this time. And I wonder, because he obviously wore his tires out worse than anyone. I'm wondering what everyone else's tires are going to be like, because I didn't expect it to be this bad.
No, he's just trying to limp it to a fuel window, I think. There's no way that can be any sort of fun right now. He's losing a lot of time. Meanwhile, for second place, Cameron Rich, Tanner Sharp having a good scrap. Behind them, Jordan McKeeboy and Race Clark going at it. Race Clark has also started to lose some ground. I wonder if his tires are starting to go.
Yeah, like we said, he had that big lead, and it went all the way, just trying to stay in the top 5, although it's not going to work. McKeeboy to the front right now. McKeeboy was 4/10 faster than that 22 machine, so Race Clark, we have to be careful to see what his tires are looking like here. We'll see if he drops a lot of pace here. I'm still watching Jeffrey Fisher, just making sure he's not going to spin it out. He is limping very slowly. He's about 4 to 5 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, that car just went straight in turns 3 and 4. And he definitely has a blown tire. There's no doubt about that.
It's a very good thing that there's no tire shredding.
I just didn't know that it made sounds.
Yeah, that's got to be something not new, obviously, but it's definitely newer for sure. I'm just surprised he hasn't hit. I know he might be trying to get to a fuel window, but if you got a flat tire, you're just giving up way too much time at this point.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the strategic value in doing what he's doing right now, but certainly maybe he's just going to pit this lap and split this race into equal thirds. That would be what I would do if I was in this situation, but he's killed so much time. I'm not sure really it made a difference when or how he comes.
Yeah, at this point it's already too late, but I mean his race is pretty much already done. He's probably going to go somewhere near a lap down. The leaders are going to be onto him soon. Actually, the leader, Mickey's into turn number 3 right now, and Jeffrey Fisher's just getting to the line. So if he does this more, it's probably going to be about somewhere around 5 to 10 laps before he gets lapped. I think the left side looks slow. It might be a left side. I still don't know which tire it is.
I still think it's the left front. Judging by the way that the car is sitting, I have a feeling it's the left front. You can sort of tell. I mean, it's just the way it's sort of sinking. I mean, the left rear is doing it too, but not quite to that extent. But I think that's what's going on right now as we go back up to 7th place. Sam Close having a big fight behind him. Oh, look at the 22 Race Clark almost got in the fence down in turn 1.
I'll be watching him. He's way up the track. We'll see if he has his tire issue starting now. I think he's all the way back to 10th after that. Brent Miller was in 10th, so I think that put Race Clark almost outside the top 10. We'll see if he starts dropping here. He ran a 43.5 last time by. That car is really dropping off bad.
James Miller on the inside of the 5 of Sam Close. This is for 7th.
Tanner Sharp's coming in for pit lane, so we're seeing pit stop start. Race Clark is coming in as well. I think he realizes that his tires are pretty much done, so the leaders are starting to come in here.
Whoa, almost got the pit wall too. That was a little dicey. Corey Lindsay coming in. And for Eric Mickey, he's been managing these tires very well. He's got a 1 second lead. That's the biggest one we've seen all day.
Yeah, we'll see how long his tires can last and if it's worth stretching them longer. We'll see if he reacts at all to the drivers who came in. But really his only competition right now is Cameron Rich and Tanner Sharp right now. He's going to have to be careful of how much ground that 3 machine makes up. But right now the other driver in this race is the 17, and I don't think Mickey's going to respond this time.
He's going to stay out front as he comes across the line. Why stop now? I mean, look at the drop-off, though. This is what's so interesting to me is we're seeing the tires wear so fast. Look at the drop-off for the race leader. His last lap of 42.5, his best of 42.3. He's only 0.2 off pace, but the tires are losing their durability much faster than their pace. See the 98 return to the racetrack now, 2 laps down.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best decision to stay out like that. His left side still looks low, but it's obviously not going to be flat anymore. But yeah, it's just crazy how important the tire saving is in these 87 cars. I mean, the drop-off, not much at all, but if you wear them out too much, you're pretty much done, and you're going to have a flat. I have a feeling the 22 had a flat. I don't think he wanted to hit that early, but he did. I think he definitely had something going wrong there, so he kind of had no choice.
Well, I bet you with the size of the fuel tank these cars have, they could probably go to halfway on fuel. Not sure they could go there on the rubber they got put on at the start of the race, though, so that might be a strategy decision you'll have to make. Here's Matt Grunberg up to 10th place now in the 54. Started all the way back in 26. A handful of drivers have come to pit lane. The 54 is one of them. But that was, looking at the stint number, that was all the way back at the lap 3 caution.
Yeah, same thing for the 09 of James Miller. He put on that caution as well. He's up to 6th after a couple drivers in front of him stopped, trying to get that 5th position from Chuck Sweeting right now before all of them come into pit. Eventually, the leader is top 4 stay on track. Jeffrey Fisher got into a wall maybe a little bit there. Most of the leaders staying on track. Evoy, I think, excuse me. A lot of these drivers, kind of what we saw in the Cup race in real life at Darlington. Some drivers might be trying 2 stops, and some of these guys, maybe they'll try stretching it for 1 stop.
A lot of instability on the straightaways from what I've seen tonight. The car is kind of a handful in that regard. Running on board now with Grunberg as he tries to chase down Kevin Finn for make that 8th spot as they come up off of turn 2.
Yeah, these guys are just, like we saw when those 2 drivers got together on the backstretch, it's really hard to keep the car under you even when you're going in a straight line, as I see Eric Mickey's coming to the pit right now, so no 1 stop for Eric Mickey as the leader's going to come in. Cameron Rich stays on track. He takes the lead. So, yeah, it's just going to be, it really depends on how long of a run you get, but the front stretch and the back stretch gets really sketchy.
So curious now for Eric Mickey what the lap times, what the pit times should look like. We're seeing stops around the 45 to 50-second mark as Mickey comes on into pit lane and stops the box nicely. Now Cameron Rich, the next up on the chopping block, and we'll see if he'll come this time or maybe wait a lap or 2 before he pits. But here comes Eisenman up the inside lane. That is for the race lead.
Well, if he wants to pit, he's going to have to just let off, and I don't think he really wants to, but he does get clear. Maybe he'll drop off right now, but no, he still wants the race with the lead, but Eisenman's got it for the time being.
And teammates there, so I think there'll be some working together going on. Jordan McEvoy in 3rd, Chuck Sweeting 4th, and James Miller up into 5th. And battle here, Richard Hines, Skylar Nissel, they were fighting, but now Nissel will hit pit lane with the 20 of Brady Smith, Mike Stevens, and right ahead of him, the 27 of Cogswell, and the 5 of Sam Close.
Yeah, a a lot. You got to be careful when you're coming in a big group like that. You make sure you don't get into each other. Also, got to make sure you get into your stall. You can't overshoot or else your race is done. Skylar Nissel looked like he got in too deep there. I wonder if he made it. I think he did.
He did. Yep, he did make it. So nice pit stop entry for him. Jordan McKeevoy off into turn 4, though. He's got Chuck Sweeting heading to the inside, and James Miller will come with him.
And James Miller just really trying to get all the track position he can get before he comes in for his second set of tires. Like we keep saying over and over again, he did pit. I just don't think it really worked out. He was only up just barely into the top 10 when everyone started pitting. I just don't think it's really going to work for him, although he is going to be able to stretch it farther, and he'll have fresher tires on this next coming run, so maybe that will end up benefiting him.
Yeah, so my only thing that I've been noticing here is that the lap time difference between old and new tires is pretty much nothing, at least nothing worth taking tires for. So come down to the end of a race, late race restart, do not pit. I don't think there's any value in that at all. The tires seem to be pretty much dead even from new to old up until you get to around the lap 28, 29 mark, and then they fall off a cliff and they blow. So I don't think there's really any value in fresh tires 5, 10, 15, even 20 laps into a run. Once you get to lap 28 or 30, then you have to come to pit lane or the rubber will explode and end up in the grandstand somewhere. So we'll play into the strategy later. If anybody's paying attention to the lap times, they will know once you get to lap 70, don't take tires again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wonder if these guys in the top 5 are going to stretch it to 50. I still don't know how far these fuel tanks can stretch it. It might be close to 50, but I'm not quite sure. As Heisman leader laps Alex Boyd there. Heisman, I think, is going to stay on track again. Yes, he is. So we'll see if these guys stretch it to 50. I think a one-stop might be the right move, hoping those guys who pit on the two-stop get held up by traffic, possibly.
I think that if they were going to do a three-stop, or a two-stopper, I should say, they would have already come. I think that they're committed to the one-stopper now, and if they aren't, well, that was a big strategy mistake, I think. So we'll see how it plays out. James Miller still hunting down Chuck Sweeting for second as they come out of turn 2. Matt Grunberg has Kevin Finn right behind him, so he leapfrogged those two drivers in the pits.
Yeah, really good job by Grunberg. He's been getting through the field very well after he started way in the back. I'm not sure if he even qualified, but really steady climb for that 54 machine so far right now. He's looking really strong as he's trying to get to that 21, trying to get another spot here. And McKeevoy way up the track is going to get it. Is he trying to pit maybe? Or is
here he comes.
He's trying to pit. Yep.
Is he going to try to get to pit lane? He will. I think he might have a tire gone in this car. Left front looks down.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just wanted to pit there. I'm not sure if the tire went down.
So working our way to halfway, Chuck Sweeting, James Miller for second. Matt Hackathorn, Cameron Rich. This is for what is now 6th on the racetrack. As Cameron Rich, whoa, big slide for Hackathorn all the way onto the apron on the backstretch.
I've been seeing that a lot. That's at least the second time I've seen it.
Hackathorn lost some ground.
Sorry, I thought I heard it. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, got in the wall out of 2. That's what sent those cars chasing the apron.
Cameron Rich is actually coming to pit lane. I thought I heard the sound effect again. I think Cameron Rich blew a tire. He might have stretched it too far.
Yes.
He definitely blew a tire. And I thought I heard some contact. I'm not sure what happened, but Cameron Rich definitely blew a tire, stretched it too far, and he's in now.
So Cameron Rich will hit pit lane. At least he was able to come immediately after the tire blew. Eric Mickey should resume the lead here as soon as he gets cycled back to the front, and it's still going to be a while, at least 5 laps until the halfway point when we'll see the other 5 or 10 drivers come down and get 4 Mr. Feelgoods and a tank of fuel.
And now he's got to get by these top 3 on older tires. Eric Mickey doesn't want to be held up for too long, or else the guys who are on the one-stop are going to get a bit of an advantage. So I don't think all of these 3 are going to let the leader, or let that 4 machine by easily, because they're still racing for the lead hard. Chuck Sweeting wants that lead from Heisman.
Mickey about to unlap himself here, and there's a bit of a touch between those 2 race leaders. Sweeting got to the back of Heisman, and they're going to come out of turn number 2, door to door, and that is the 09 and James Miller. This is a 3-way fight with the leader that will recycle to the front right behind them, trying to get back through. He's going to try to go split middle 3 wide, going to run the leaders up the racetrack, and now put Miller back to the front.
Yeah, Miller back to the front, and Mickey trying to get his lap back, almost going to make it work. He'll probably get it into turn number 1, but Chuck Sweeting is going to give the help to the 09 machine right now, as Mickey's got no draft help, still hanging on to the inside of that 09 machine. He should have the better grip to get this positioning back, but the 09 is going to pinch him hard.
3 laps still halfway at the next time by the stripe. About 38 minutes of racing remaining. If we go green all the way to the end, we've only had one caution slowing the progress so far tonight. That was back at lap number 2. A collision with Nick Boyd, Donovan Smith, Trevor Butler, and the 44 of Michael Goodman. Everyone else has been out on the racetrack untouched for the most part since the drop of the green flag. 28 drivers running and 9 on the lead lap. Go ahead.
Sorry, I heard the sound effect again. I think Eisenman's got a tire down, but he didn't come in that time. I think he's definitely got a tire down. He's going to have to go another lap.
I just didn't know that there was a tire sound attached. I've never heard the sound effect before.
It's good to hear, that's for sure, but I don't know if the drivers can hear it because he definitely had it down in 3 and 4, and he did not come in very slow in the middle of the turns. He's going to lose a lot of time. And meanwhile, at the front, they're really mixing it up. Eric Mickey finally got clear of James Miller to get his lap back, and Chuck Sweeting's going for the lead.
Matt Grunberg on pit lane in the number 54, so he will come now. 2 laps to halfway, next time by the stripe. Sweeting, Miller, Eisenman, Hackathorn, Finn, Hines, Miller, and Ethan Reason are the only holdouts left at the front.
And while Hackathorn gets by Eisenman not coming in, and Eisenman's not coming in either, I just don't know why these guys are sticking it out on flat tires. They must not know themselves or something, because it is definitely costing them way too much time.
Well, you have to wonder, is running on a flat tire 4 seconds off the pace for 2 or 3 laps worse than making an extra pit stop? I'd say probably not. I would say I don't understand why Jeffrey Fisher did that. I do understand now why some of them are running on flat tires for 2 or 3 laps. I think that's okay. But again, the whole pit stop delta from pit in to pit out is only something like, I don't know, 46 seconds or something like that. So I don't really see, if you're staying out there for more than 5 or 6 laps, you're going to end up giving up more time, especially if you still have to come in and do 2 stops versus 1 that a bunch of other drivers are trying to do.
That's probably what he was trying to do now that I think about it, just really trying to make that one stop work, and he actually got the V-apron in turn number 4, so he's coming in for his, hopefully for him, his one and only stop here, trying to lift that thing home, does get it down to speed. And meanwhile, Eric Mickey, he'll cycle out to the lead, but we'll see. It's really going to be interesting if it goes green, how big of a gap the drivers on the one stop get when that Ford machine does go in for his final stop.
James Miller by Chuck Sweeting in turn number 3. That will put him back to the top spot. A good fight between these two, and a pretty fair fight as well. But move the 09 to the top spot. Chuck Sweeting to second. Halfway this time through, and then I would expect next time by, Miller and Sweeting and Haggathorn and everybody else who has not pit, they will come. That's my prediction. Here comes Sweeting back to the bottom in turn number 1.
Yeah, it's crazy how different a lot of drivers' tire saving worked. The 98 obviously had a flat tire on lap 30, and these guys have stretched it 20 laps farther to halfway. So it really goes to show how important it is to just keep that tire cool enough to be able to make a fuel strategy work. These guys are probably really not driving too hard, and obviously James Miller has the fresher tires, but Chuck Sweeting, I'm pretty sure he's been on the same set of tires the whole race, so good job for him.
Yeah, 51 laps since his the drop of the green flag, at least. There's James Miller way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. We're going to go another lap here? Yes. Wow. Surprised by that.
Someone else is on pit road, I think, with a flat tire. It's Nick Miller. He was in 7th. He comes to his pit stop with a flat tire, so he'll go a lap or 2 down. He was somewhere back in the field. As meanwhile, for the lead, Chuck Sweeting's getting it right back. These guys keep swapping left and right.
Yeah, good battles here. Looks like Miller's going to turn right back down to the bottom and try to carry that speed up off the corner. Sweeting a little bit tight, almost gets the fence, but he will stay in line. Now a sweep back to the left to avoid that fence, and I just wonder, when are they going to come? This is a long way to stretch tires.
Well, I have drivers on. I know you don't. Chuck Sweeting's actually coming in this time by. I'm going to wonder if the James Miller's going to follow him. Yes, he is. I think he is.
Oh, tire flat on the 26.
Oh yeah, Chuck Sweeting had to come in that time. He might have wanted to stretch it again. He really couldn't, as both these drivers going to get right close to each other on pit entrance here. But they make it work. We'll see where they cycle back out to on the one stop, because they lost a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, you can see right here on the left front how this is right up against the pavement. Compare that with the 09 that has a little bit of gap between the bumper and the pavement. That is where the flat is coming from, at least visually. So they will go into their box. I think both of them got in there nice and clean. You see the 87 returning to the racetrack in the background. Ethan Reasoner out front, the lone driver who has yet to make a pit stop here. He did stop earlier, but that was a lap 2 caution. He's been out on the same set of tires for 49 laps.
so he won't be able to go much farther than these guys. But it'll definitely make it easier for him to save his tires and do this one-stop strategy. And it's definitely going to give him. I think he didn't have the best of qualifying. In fact, I don't think he even did qualify. Started way at the back, dead last actually in 29. So if he can make this work and get a good finish out of this one-stop, if it goes green, it's going to be a really perfect strategy.
Corey Lindsey, Kevin Finn, they're having a good fight here. This is for 14th with Matt Grunberg right in front of them for 13th.
Grunberg trying to gain some more time. He's obviously got that damage on the front. He's able to go okay. Oh, Kevin Finn's actually into the wall. Corey Lindsey all the way to the bottom to try to avoid him. That is how sketchy it is, trying to just turn left to avoid a simple driver hitting the outside wall.
Sweeting and Miller, this is for 4th place now. It all cycled around to bring them back inside the top 5.
And Eric Mickey, I thought Tanner Sharp would stay close to him as Ethan Reesner's coming in for his one and only stop here. I thought Mickey wouldn't have the biggest of gaps, but it's about 6 seconds.
Whoa, car in front spinning. The 10 car slams the wall. Caution is out, lap 54.
And
oh, no! Oh, Hackathorn's in it.
Yeah, that was a huge hit.
Yeah, I don't think he could have stopped the way that car was traveling. And a little bit of unpredictability in there as well. Alex Boyd destroyed. So is the 84 of Matt Hackathorn.
And that changes everything for Reasoner. He just got into the pit lane. I think he did make it. That might be a tire. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, just lost control. Chuck Sweeting misses it. He slams the wall, comes back down the racetrack, and this is where the 84, yeah, he's trying to go high and just pick the wrong direction, unfortunately.
I can't really blame for that because he sees the 10. He's coming low. He's thinking the 10's trying to get off the track, trying to get into the grass to get just out of everyone's way. And then the 10 turns it right, follows back up the track, turns it back up, and the 84 is already committed. There's nothing he can do. Yeah,
it was unfortunately a really gnarly hit for those drivers. One of those times where you're glad that it's a virtual environment that we're racing in here tonight. You can see the brake rotors glowing. He was trying to stop. It's just not going to happen. These cars not... oh, man, look at this hit. Wow. Vicious impact for the 84. End of the race for him. Hackathorn's out. That changes a whole lot of things. You mentioned the driver that was in the race lead. That was Ethan Reasoner. Well, unfortunately, he's cycled out to be 12th. I think he probably would have liked to be a bit better than that.
That is true, but most of the guys in front of him probably already put a lot of laps on their tires, so he's got fresh tires, obviously just came out of a pit, so he might cycle out, if not to the lead, at the front somewhere.
Yeah, no, actually, a lot of people did come to pit lane, with the lone exceptions being Sweeting and I think just Sweeting, actually. So Ethan Reasoner will stay out and pick up 2nd place, so that actually worked out in his favor because everyone came back down. I'm not sure why. I think there was a few drivers that saved the tire that could have been out there and not really suffered any pace differential. I don't think fresh tires are going to make you any faster. I just think they'll let your tires last longer towards the end of the race.
Yeah, that's the real problem. They don't really care about them being faster. They just need their tires to last as long as they can, because I think a lot of people, because they saw those drivers doing the one-stop, I think there's no doubt in my mind that if it goes green from here, you're not pitting again. You're trying to stretch the tires to the very end for about 40 to 44 laps here. So you're definitely not going to have the track position. So Tanner Sharp, Eric Mickey, Cameron Rich, these guys are going to they're going to have to race their way back up to the front. They're going to have to get by Chuck Sweeting, Ethan Reasoner, Sam Close, and the 09's up there now too, as we know the 09's fast, so we'll see what he can do in clean air.
We'll come back for the restart here in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back from Michigan. Welcome back live to Three Wide Racing League Cold Hard Cup Series, round 3 for Michigan. Our second caution of the night, a couple timing and scoring errors that they had to get resolved, so they've waved some cars around. With just over 40 laps to go, we're about to go racing again with 41 to go from Michigan. Chuck Sweeting, Miller, Mickey, Sharp, Rich, Miller, Clark, McEvoy, Finn, and Corey Lindsay, your top 10 as the green flag flies again from Michigan. Whoa, big of a stack up behind him. Skylar Nissel, Levi Zielinski did a good job avoiding that mess. And I think we're going to get away with that one.
I didn't even notice this while we were looking, but Ethan Reisner, I don't know if he pit. I wasn't really looking, but he went to the back of the pack. Got some sort of black flag. He was going to be in the top 3, but it's really, that just leaves Chuck Sweeting and James Miller on their own with fairly worn tires to fight off Eric Mickey.
To the inside for the race lead, the 09 of James Miller goes for a huge mess for about 12th to 15th spot. We're riding on board now with Mike Stevens as he follows this mess out of turn 4. And now their field fanning out here. This is 4 wide, maybe? We're going to try it.
Yeah, just about the 14 all the way onto the apron. Matt Grunberg stuck in the middle. Corey Lindsay, Nick Miller in the fray. These guys are fighting for everything they can. They know how hard it is to pass Llewellyn's into a wall up there in the 02. He was a lap down already, I believe, as he's going to keep it up there and stay out of the way.
Yeah, he definitely was a lap down. Meanwhile, for the race leader, in a drag race car, the wall in the background.
Oh.
Who was it?
Cogswell, Jonathan Cogswell. Oh, someone had to really swerve to avoid him. Fisher goes around Richard Hines, moved to pass him. I don't know what happened there, but Cogswell did a good job keeping it straight.
Yeah, just got in the fence out of turn 2 and had to catch it, and everyone did a good job getting around it. We should have had about 2 or 3 more cautions than we have tonight. Good wreck avoidance going on. Bit of a block by Cameron Rich right down in front of Chuck Sweeting as we head off into turn 1. How about a cool 192 miles an hour for Cameron Rich off into 1.
Eric Mickey really wants to lead quickly. James Miller obviously with older tires. Mickey going all the way to the yellow line to try to make it work. He wants to go before Tanner Sharp has any sort of shot at him, trying to get any sort of side draft he can on that left rear. Now he's going to dart high to 09, blocks that line.
Into turn 3, doors open. Mickey's knocking, but not yet entering. And there's a bigger knock, a touch to the rear bumper as they come out of turn 4. That was really close. Mickey wants the outside, door slammed. Now going to try the bottom as they come across the line. Lap 63 underway.
Yeah, I don't think Miller's really going to put up with beating and banging for too long here. I don't think he wants to race like that, but I don't think he's going to. I think Mickey's going to be able to just send it and clear him here, but we'll see how hard the 09 pinches. The 4 is going to try to force it off the track. Better yet, he's just going to go for the slide job.
He got it. Move Mickey to the top spot. Miller back to second.
Tanner Sharp's going to be next in line to take that spot. These 3 in a bit of a breakaway. Cameron Rich trying to get back up there. Chuck Sweeting back to 5th on the older tires. Cameron Rich just can't get up there quite yet, as now it's Tanner Sharp's turn to be all over the back over the 09.
Yeah, Miller gave a big shot to the back of the 4 off into turn number 3. Here's a good battle. Race Clark, Brent Miller, Jordan McEvoy, Zielinski, and Grunberg in the red, white, and blue car in the background. All having a party for about 5th or 6th spot.
Maybe for I think for these 3, it's the 8th spot. I don't think we've even talked about Zielinski today. He's had a pretty decent run. He started 21st. He's fouled his way up into the top 10 just about, still trying to get by McEvoy. So pretty strong run so far, trying to get more out of it right now. Is that McEvoy in the wall? Or it might have been Brett Miller almost.
Yeah, I think it was McEvoy that scraped it. Matt Grunberg has been kind of a non-factor tonight. I think he kind of got buried with some of that strategy. Meanwhile, for a second, Tanner Sharp has cleared James Miller. And now it is a Ford out front and a Chevrolet chasing as we come across the line, lap 65 underway.
And Chuck Sweeting, the next one to tap the wall. He's able to keep it going all right, though. Race Clark's got the run to the outside. Brent Miller's going to help him out there as he's starting to stack up a little bit more for these positions. The fight for the top 5 still side by side.
Battle for, I guess that's 5th spot. Race Clark and Chuck Sweeting. Add Brent Miller to the equation now. They'll single file back out before they get to turn 3. Sun is out now, beating down on the racetrack, and the track temp has only come up. That's going to make the tire situation even worse as the day goes on here.
Yeah, everyone's really wanting to race for track position, but at the same time, we saw the 98. His tires were gone in 30 laps. You have to be so conservative with how you're turning the wheel, with how you're getting back to the throttle. You have to make these tires last about 40 or so laps. You cannot risk it at all. You have to make sure you can get to the end without stopping for tires again.
Big dive for Zielinski off into turn number 1. Chuck Sweeting in the middle of the corner is going to go up the racetrack a lane, find some momentum, and Matt Grunberg tried to slot in the hole at the back out, look to the inside. Zielinski blocks, now back to the right. Door opens for the 54.
2x2 yet again. I think we've said that more times than I think they probably said Kyle Busch hasn't won a race yesterday. So, yeah, they say that a lot. That's a bit of a tricky game. But these guys are all over each other. Talk about we have to save the tires, but it doesn't seem like a lot of that's happening right now. These guys are going left and right trying to find a lane by these guys. Brent Miller leads this pack now.
Up the outside, the 26 gets chased almost to the fence down in turn 1. Brent Miller takes him all the way to the wall, but goes no further.
Yeah, 21 is really lagging across the track right now. I think a lot of people are getting concerned that if they go to the inside or of him, it's going to be a problem. We'll see if that sorts itself out or maybe he gets pulled off the track because it's been a problem for a while. Let's look at this move for Sweeting.
Big slide to the inside, now going to take a dive into turn 3. Matt Grunberg going to follow suit on the 97. This is now for 6th and 8th for Miller, or excuse me, for Chuck Sweeting and Matt Grunberg. Nose to tail on the outside. Miller and Zielinski, the 26 and 97 almost touched there down the front stretch.
Zielinski trying to maybe side draft a little bit, doesn't have much of a drafting help behind him. Corey Lindsay can't get up there as they go dead even into turn number 1. Zielinski a big send, chops the nose of the 26 machine, but he's going to get the job done, and now it's Grunberg's turn to try to get by that 26.
For the race lead, here they come. Tanner Sharp side by side with the number 4 Motorcraft Ford. Down into turn 3, the Chevrolet on the inside carries the speed. Are they going to touch? That was really close if they didn't. And now the 3 will edge ahead.
Oh, he's going to try to slide up right in front of him. He throttled up mid-corner to do it. He's going to get the job done. Eric Mickey's going to go for the crossover to the inside. He doesn't have the run. Tanner Sharp, I didn't think he could catch Eric Mickey, but this might be a case of Mickey just trying to save his tires. But nevertheless, Tanner Sharp to the front.
I think there's definitely strategy on Eric Mickey's mind. He knows if he calms down now, he's lost the lead. He's no longer in control of the pace. Take the pace down a notch. No, you're not going to keep up with the 3 and not burn the tires up. So I kick it down a notch, save those tires, and maybe run the 3 car back down towards the end of the race. The danger in doing that is that Tanner Sharp can see that the 4's back down and simultaneously bring his level back down. Then they'll both be driving slow and both not be saving anything towards the end.
Yeah, that's really it's kind of the strategy. When you get the lead in any car with the new tire model, you kind of just, you just have to, excuse me, sorry, McEvoy, excuse me, he actually did just get black flagged for his internet issue, so they finally pulled the plug on him, so he'll have to serve some sort of penalty or just get off the track for the race.
And it looks like, well, he's still out there, sort of. And that's exactly why they issue black flags like this, just for the safety of the other competitors, and it's been slowly getting worse over the course of the race. As caution is out, and Jeffrey Fisher and Skylar Nissel have had a run in on the backstretch. 3rd caution of the night.
And that's going to throw a lot of strategy into things, because we were talking about how the drop-off isn't that much time-wise, but and at this point, 30 to go, you're not going to have to save too much if you get new tires. I'm just wondering if we're going to see some split strategy here.
I don't know. I think we might see people come on down. There's the 98, tries to get up the inside, and the 11 maybe just pinched him a little too tight there. Connor, what's your perspective on that?
I think the 9th, I don't know. I think Fisher might have been trying to force it. He struggled for most of the race, trying to make something happen here.
Yeah, I think he drifted up into the 11.
Just a little bit. The 11 came down a little bit. Could have gone higher, but I just don't think he wanted to put the 14 of Finn in the wall. Maybe a bit more of a racing incident. Fisher he's struggled for sure. Flat tire, been a lap or 2 down. He actually is back on the lead lap, but just another unfortunate incident for him.
Well, no harm, no foul. They'll both get back rolling. Just maybe some hurt egos on these drivers. We'll follow the pit stops. We'll jump to break, and we'll come on back for what is probably going to be one of our last restarts tonight. Do you think, or do you think we're going to have a slew of cautions start to come our way?
I still see I know we had a bit of a big one on the 2nd lap, but I still think we're going to have a lot in store. The 3 and the 4, they were racing so hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they got into it. We're going to see who's going to come down and who's not. Tanner Sharp looking like he wants to pit. He's going for the pit lane. I think he wants to pull back to the right. He doesn't. Looks like everyone's coming in.
I think that is pretty much everybody.
Except Nick Miller. Nick Miller, I think he's on the lead lap. No, he is not. Doesn't matter.
Down. Yeah.
So everyone's getting their last set here. So this might be the run to the finish. Better not overshoot it. You want to get out with the best track position. So the 3 and the 4 better not mess up. And it's a big pit stop for that 17, because I think Cameron Rich still has a bit of better pace, especially on a short run. So if he can get out in front, it's going to be big for him.
So we'll see where people cycle back out. Race Clark, again, the pole sitter tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to leverage that too much. The first driver off of pit lane will be Levi Zielinski. I think that was a 2-tire stop for him. Everyone else will take 4. Yep. Eric Mickey will be off in 2nd. Race Clark, pretty good stop. He'll roll off in 3rd as the rest of the field comes back off. We'll be back to line things up for the restart here in just a few moments. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the 3-Wide-Racing League Cold Hard Art Cup Series. We're about to get ready to go racing after our, what is this, our 3rd caution of the night here, Connor. We've got some drama on the racetrack, a couple drivers a bit heated with each other, but I guess we're now about to sort things out ourselves on the racetrack with about 25, 26 laps to go.
Yeah, and there's a big round of pit stops, actually. Zielinski, only the one taking 2 tires. We'll see how those hold up. He was somewhere just outside the top 10, or maybe just inside the top 10 when that caution came out, so we'll see if this pays off with like a 26-lap dash to the finish. Eric Mickey's going to have to work really hard to get the lead quickly because he's got an advantage over Tanner Sharp now. Sharp back to 5th on that round of stops, lost to like 4 spots, so he's going to have to charge to the front here with not too much time to go.
All right, do we go green to the end, or do we have a caution in between, or maybe several? Connor, what's your pick here as we go back green?
I think there's going to be at least 2 more cautions, and I think one of them's going to be pretty big. Might be the 3 and the 4 are going to want to look out if they get together. I wouldn't be surprised, but it doesn't matter. We're going green. Bit of a stack up at the front.
Off into turn number 1. And it looks like the 4 of Eric Mickey going to chase the 97 all the way to the top of the racetrack. Going to get right to the rear bumper. We'll have a look to the bottom as they come out of turn number 2.
Oh, Race Clark way to the middle. Donovan Smith, the lap car, just trying to get out of the way. 97 trying to protect the bottom line. Mickey trying to find a way anywhere to go. Look at these guys, 3 wide, trying 4 wide. Race Clark not going to let Mickey make that move. Race Clark could be the first one to challenge for the lead.
Matt Grunberg from the back of the field all the way to 7th. Look at the 3 to the bottom.
Oh.
The 22, big slide in the no air. Here comes Grunberg up the inside for the race lead. If he can just get through a couple more cars, the 22 slots in, the 4 drops to the bottom, and now the 3, sucker hold in the middle. Here comes Grunberg now for 4th.
And that'll for the lead. I think Mickey's going to really not have much of a contest for the race lead. He sends it into turn number 1, but 97 Zielinski, they're still 3 wide back there. Cameron Rich and Tanner Sharp almost making.
No, that's not going to work. Oh, that was really dicey. Sorry, Connor. The 17 sideways out of turn number 2. Now down the backstretch, the 00 of Corey Lindsay changed lanes for the car behind the 3. That's the 09 of James Millard up to join the party. Cameron Rich buried in 4th place now, making 6th as they head off into 3. Mickey has the top spot, 24 to go this time through, and it's a hornet's nest at the exit of 4.
And 3 cars away from that hornet's nest as Cameron Rich into a wall a little bit out of turn number 4. Corey Lindsay a bit squirrely out of 4. Eric Mickey to the race lead. That's going to be big for him. Zielinski trying to fend off Race Clark for that 2nd position. Race Clark knows this is for the win. He's really sent it into turn number 1. Almost too far there.
About 15 minutes of racing left to go here from Michigan, and it's a phenomenal battle for the race lead. Eric Mickey's gotten through. Behind him, it's a mess. It's Zielinski, Clark, Miller, Sharp, Gruenberg, Rich, Eisenman, Lindsay, and looks like now it's Chuck Sweeting in the 10th and Miller to 11th as it's constantly changing. Miller to the bottom underneath the 26.
I kind of thought Zielinski would drop through the pack a bit more, but he's really the only other one over than Mickey to get clear of the rest of the pack. Race Clark was clear, sent it way too far into turn number 1. He's going backwards now, and Tanner Sharp's got nowhere to go. He's still stuck just trying to battle for a top 5 spot as these top 2 get away.
Race Clark was going for 2nd a moment ago, but now he's going to lose 4th and maybe 5th because here comes Tanner Sharp up the inside. I don't know if there was a touch. If there wasn't, it was close. Here comes Rich up the outside lane. Now door slams on exit with the 3.
He's not going to like that. He's not going to give Tanner Sharp. He's going to give Tanner Sharp a lot of stick about that, trying to work it to the inside. No, he goes outside now. Tanner Sharp still trying to work on that 22 machine as the 09. That's James Miller. He's up to 3rd, trying to creep into the picture for the lead, for the race lead, excuse me, as that 97 Zielinski still trying to close in on Mickey. That 4 machine is not gone just yet.
Oh boy, getting really dicey behind all this as well. We're looking about 4 wide for a moment. There's Kevin Finn, Michael Goodman, Jeffrey Fisher charging his way back forward through the field. Great short run pace earlier. He's not been able to replicate that on the long run. Back at the front, Eric Mickey is leading. Zielinski trying to run him back down. He was 7/1000ths of a second quicker 1 lap ago.
We're 3 wide on the back with Fisher. A bit of blocking going on. I think that's Sam Close putting a block on that the 89 machine of Brent Miller as those 0, 26 and the 5, couple others really stacked up there. This race with the lead is still going to heat up to the end of this one. As Eric Mickey, I don't know if he's saving at this point. If he is, he's doing a good job of going fast while doing it, but I think it's go time at this point.
I don't think you're really concerned. If you just came to pit lane, which pretty much everybody did, I don't really think there's any reason why you would have to save tire. I think we've seen about 30 laps is kind of where the tires will explode if you've been driving them hard. And I think everyone here is about 26 laps on these tires when they get the checkered flag here tonight. So I think you can run them all the way down to the cords, and I think you'll be okay. I wouldn't go beyond that. I wouldn't be sliding around everywhere, but I think you can run them out hard to the end and not have any issues. So I think gloves are off, and it's time to race here from Michigan as Tanner Sharp goes back by Race Clark for 5th. But Eric Mickey again out front. He has led today. 24, make it 25 laps. That's a quarter of the race.
He's definitely been one of the more dominant cars. When he got to the front, he stayed there. It was pretty simple for him as McEvoy. He's finally been parked for good out of the race because of his internet troubles. So right now, he will not get the finish that he might have deserved. He was running very well, but just unfortunate. As meanwhile, this battle for the lead, it hasn't closed in, but Mickey hasn't gotten away. A lot of these guys just staying even. I'm wondering if anyone is even trying to just lay back like that 09 car. Maybe he's trying to save something for the end of the race, as well as Gruenberg.
Tanner Sharp up the racetrack a little bit. We've seen everybody kind of condensed down to one middle groove. In the early parts of the race, we saw drivers all over the racetrack. Why do you think that's changed?
I think they realized that there's really only one line you can really run in. I think the first run was really just a lot of experimentation. Guys all the way going to the wall, going to the yellow line, trying to make something work as James Miller might have gotten into a wall into turn number 1, but I think people realize that middle line and that very bottom seam in turn number 1. Same thing for 3 and 4. I think everyone realized that it's hard to pass when the guy's driving the line like that, and if you're going to pass, you kind of have to just force someone up the track by using that line. So I think everyone realizes that's really the only line you can really use at this track right now.
Tanner Sharp up the inside of the 54. That would be for 4th place. No challenger for Eric Mickey just yet as we approach 15 laps to go. As these two drag racer Monte Carlos pass the line, lap 83.
Really aggressive with the side track. You saw Grunberg kind of swerve to the right side door of Tanner Sharp there, trying to get some sort of run down the front stretch. Still sticking it out on the right rear quarter panel. Going to be dicey if Sharp slides up the track. Might try to pull a slide job. Can't do it. Way too loose out of 2. 54's got the run back.
Carrying the speed now 180, 184, 186, 188 off into turn 3. And still less than a foot and a half apart. And look at the 3 just nosing ahead. He will clear the 54 as Race Clark comes back into the picture with the Thunderbird.
Coming up to about 17 laps to go. I think Tanner Sharp realized.
Oh, trouble in the background. Crash out of turn number 4. And a car spinning. It's the 14 of Kevin Finn.
It's going to save it. We might say green here. He hasn't stopped yet. He's going to get it back going again. We're going to stay green.
Well, that was lucky for the race leaders. And unlucky for Kevin Finn. Here's a look. 44 Goodman got kind of loose on exit and tagged him and Donovan Smith together. And they did a great job holding that down and not creating a bigger issue out of that.
That was a great save by the Donovan Smith especially. He got just put into the wall basically way sideways. He was able to keep his momentum. He didn't even lose a spot, I don't think. Good job by him. Good job by Finn keeping it straight, not coming up in front of traffic. But meanwhile, the race for 3rd is heating up as Tanner Sharp is going.
Race Clark watching all this from 6th place. Come across the line, lap 85 of 100.
I think Sharp's going to really try to send it to clear. I don't think he's going to make it work. The 09 strong on it outside. Grunberg trying to make a 3rd lane at the way bottom. Tanner Sharp, he's going to clear just barely in the P3.
Grunberg now has the inside real tight between the right front of Clark and the left rear of Miller. Grunberg wants back by Tanner Sharp. This is for 3rd, and I think Grunberg's launch forward has begun. With 15 laps to go, he has put himself in a prime position to run down the race leaders. 3 wide behind him as he takes 3rd away from the 3 car.
And he's going to have to work really hard to get the 97 of Zielinski. Levi Zielinski, he's done really well on just 2 fresh tires. He's keeping touch with Eric Mickey. Eric Mickey might be saving, although we said that's not an issue. He might be saving just to make a last dash to get a gap with 10 to go. He's trying to pull away now.
Second place is about to get real busy. Zielinski's got it, but Grunberg is coming. Last time by a full 10th quicker. And once these two start fighting, Sharp and Miller get together into turn 3, and Miller goes way up the racetrack into the marbles.
And he's definitely going to be seeing red trying to get back to that 3 machine. A bit of a, I wouldn't say it was intentional, but the 3, I mean, Tanner Sharp needs to go. He wants to win badly. He wants to get back up there to compete for it at least. He needs to go. He couldn't waste any time there.
Zielinski, big slide through 1 and 2. That's going to bring Grunberg and Tanner Sharp right to the rear bumper as they head down the backstretch.
I think these 3 battling for a second while the leader gets away. I think it could be trouble if these guys get way too close. I think Grunberg's got the run. Here he goes.
Not quite close enough.
Yeah, Zielinski just pretty much chopped him there. It's going to be tough to pass him if he's going to be pretty much aggressively just holding his line and not giving you any sort of room. He wants this 2-tire call to work out.
Next time by, 11 laps to go.
As Grunberg has no time to waste here. Tanner Sharp's back to the rear bumper. If Grunberg's going to go for second, he's got to do it now. I think the best bet would be for Tanner Sharp to push Grunberg by so he can get clear, and Tanner Sharp could have a clear shot at the 97, but I don't think that's going to work here.
They need to go get Eric Mickey. I think the 54 is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He was last time through, with the exception of Tanner Sharp from 4th. So I think Grunberg and Sharp together are a pretty deadly combination for the 4 of Eric Mickey, and they're going to get by Levi Zielinski in one fell swoop here out of 4. Grunberg is clear now. Tanner Sharp will work on him before turn 1. They get real tight as they come across the line.
Most aggressive side draft you'll see on the service possibly, but it did work. He still got the run into turn number 1. Almost contact made again. They're going to get together. Now the 97 goes up the track off the right side door. Zielinski trying to save it. He does. He's going to lose a lot of spots. Still sideways out of turn number 2. He is going to remember that one for sure.
Yeah, he was chasing that one all the way through turns 1 and 2. He's going to lose 4, maybe 5 spots here because here comes Cameron Rich and another Thunderbird, along with Eisman, Corey Lindsay, and more. So Zielinski from 1st to 6th, and only a handful of laps. Up front, though, Eric Mickey is running for his life as they come on through 11 laps to go, next time by 10. And now let's watch, I can't speak. Let's watch the lap times here, the last 10 or so laps.
Mickey is 7.61 that time as the leader. Gruenberg and Tanner Sharp about half a tenth to a tenth slower, so the 4 showing his pace coming down to the wire. I think Tanner Sharp better hope that we don't get any restarts so he doesn't have the 0.9 or that 97 even close to him, because they're going to remember how he raced them. As Tanner Sharp's going for second, he's not going to work with the 54.
This is crucial here. 0.8 of a second is the gap. If they fight, they're going to lose more time. Tanner Sharp goes through to second, and he will clear Matt Gruenberg for the race lead, or for second place, as the race lead belongs to Eric Mickey now with 10 laps to go, and it's about 20 miles left here from Michigan.
Yeah, now Gruenberg, he mighty let him go. He's not going for the pass. He's shoving that 3 machine down the front stretch. The leader, Mickey, a 7.48. Tanner Sharp, a 6.74. About a tenth faster than the race leader. So Gruenberg, I think he knows he has to help that 3 car if he wants any sort of chance at this win. Maybe contact between the leaders is his best bet.
Yeah, nearly a second back, only a tenth better. Well, that is enough time to run him down. We still have 9 laps to go. Next lap by. So there's still plenty of time at that pace to run down the race leader. So for Tanner Sharp, the goal is stay focused and don't let the 54 distract you. They really should be working together right now. Otherwise, they are going to lose. So that number 4 of Mickey, who is setting a pretty fervent pace out front, but he is not invincible. He can get run down if those second and third place cars work together.
A 7.28 for Mickey. I think that's a 6.58 for Tanner Sharp. That's Gruenberg, still slower than the race leader, but Tanner Sharp is going to be trying to close for these last 9 to 8 laps here. As I think we got to really pay some attention to the second pack. If we see a wreck, it's going to be here. Drew Eisenman just got by Cameron Rich for 6th, but they are all stacked up, including that 97 of Zielinski.
Eisenman now dealing with Cameron Rich. He's actually gotten by him. Zielinski's down to 8th. Corey Lindsay 9th. Miller 10th. But the focus is all out front. 8 laps to go for Eric Mickey, and 0.6 of a second. The gap is coming down.
Another tenth or so taken out of that lead. A 7.09 for Tanner Sharp and 8.28 for Eric Mickey. If he's going to get there, it's going to be with maybe two turns to go, and Tanner Sharp's going to have to try to send it if he gets there with that little time to go.
Riding on board with Tanner Sharp down the backstretch. Keep an eye on that differential at the top left of your screen. 0.683 as they head off into turn 3. Now 0.749. Lost a little bit on the backstretch. He should get some back in 3 and 4. Mickey struggling through this side of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's where Tanner Sharp was making most of his passes through 3 and 4. He's really strong getting back to the throttle all race long, and the gap is slowly closing. I just don't know, even a tenth at a time, if it's going to be enough for him to have a shot to lead Mickey. A strong lap there, the 7.04. Tanner Sharp lost a couple hundredths there.
And you need to consistently gain. You can't do any of this half gain, half loss sort of nonsense. You will lose time. You will lose the race. Zielinski now back almost outside of the top 10. He will surely be very disappointed the way that this is going to end for him tonight, as he's got Brent Miller tucked in behind it. It looks like Miller has Chuck Sweeting on his gearbox.
Yeah, I think the 97 knows exactly who he's going to be complaining to after this one, as he's got Brent Miller all over that bumper there. 97 kind of just driving angry there. It's just trying to, he was going to be in line for a good finish in the top 5 if that didn't happen, but that slide just heated tires up way too much back to the front. A 6.79 for Mickey, a 7.14 for Tanner Sharp. I think Mickey finally realized he's got to go.
And Matt Gruenberg was almost dead even with Mickey's lap time. So maybe he realized that, well, he can't sit behind the 3 car all day long, so he might make a decision to go and get by this 3 car now, or he might commit. Not exactly sure, but we'll be 5 laps to go. 10 miles this lap by.
bump drafting gone wrong there. Tanner Sharp got really loose, and Gruenberg's pushing him into turn number 3. I don't know if that's help or just get out of the way there, but these two are all over each other right now, trying to get any sort of time gain on Eric Mickey. But I think the 4 finally turned up the dial a little bit, got on the throttle a little bit harder. This 4 machine pulling away here at 6.58 for Mickey, a 6.99 for Tanner Sharp, a 6.63 for Gruenberg, still on top of Mickey.
For Eric Mickey, a return to 3-Wide Racing League. He used to race in this series, in this league, a long time ago. Took an extended break for about a year and a half, 2 years. He came back and instantly found success, but it's been a while since he's found victory lane in this number 4. And tonight looks like it might be the night if he can just hang on for 4 more laps. Behind them for 9th, Brent Miller, Chuck Sweeting, Levi Zielinski officially outside of the top 10 and continuing to lose ground.
You gotta be careful, just gotta make it to the finish at this point and recover what you can. Obviously he's gonna be upset, but you just can't drive the car too hard until you just gotta make sure you keep the car in some sort of one piece. A lot of damage on that car, even though it really hasn't been in many incidents, so he's just trying to limp it around at this point. And you'll at the front, that gap still widens more. Gruenberg actually cleared a second past Tanner Sharp into turn number 1.
Matt Gruenberg has gotten by Tanner Sharp. It's a full second between him and Eric Mickey. 3 laps to go this time by for Eric Mickey to return to victory lane in the 3-Wide Racing League. And it'll be 6 miles left as Gruenberg rockets out of turn 4. Can he chase that carrot with only 6 miles left here, Connor? He might be able to run him down if he can eat a couple tenths a lap, but he's just not doing it.
Yeah, he lost time that lap getting by the 3 machine. I just don't think without a caution it's going to be any competition. I just don't think the 54 has any tire left. I think Eric Mickey was definitely saving a little bit for the final dash to the finish here, the final 5 laps or so. He was definitely saving up. He is starting to put down the fastest laps of anyone right now.
2 laps to go for Eric Mickey this time through. 4 miles left. Matt Gruenberg is doing everything he can to get back in victory lane. 4 miles.
And now he's hearing every sort of problem. Maybe he hears that flat tire sound effect. He's going to be starting to hear everything in the car on the track. He's going to be hearing wrecking in 4, wrecking in 3. He knows he's thinking a caution's going to happen, but there's really not much racing going on track right now. That second pack was really stacked up for the most part, but they sorted it out not too long ago right now, and I think it's going to be a clean run to the finish here.
Some good battles throughout the field tonight, especially at the front. In terms of lead changes this evening, we had 17. That is an enormous amount for a 100-lap race from Michigan. For Eric Mickey, it's been a long time coming. He'll pick up the white flag this time through. 2 miles left, a trip around the block, and maybe another one to finish out here in Michigan.
Meanwhile, Gruenberg got by to 3 of Tanner Sharp. He's pretty much pulled away a couple tenths from that 3 machine. You wonder if he was in second earlier, if he would have had a shot at maybe closing in on that 4 more than the 3 did. But it's just something you're going to have to think about and sleep with pretty much, as he just had no time after he only got by with about 4 to go. But Eric Mickey, he was definitely one of the fastest drivers today. He had good strategy, whether there was a yellow or not. He's going to come out of turn 4, and he's going to be the man of the hour. Eric
Mickey took a long time off from 3-Wide Racing League, but he did not take a long time off from talent. Eric Mickey will win race number 3 of the 2020 3-Wide Racing League Cold Hard Art Cup Series and pick up a checkered flag in Ford's hometown here in Michigan.
He definitely deserved it. He made the perfect move in that hornet's nest on that final restart. He was able to be the first one to get through, and that was the clutch moment of this race for sure. Gruenberg second, Tanner Sharp third, 4th is James Miller. Miller might be disappointed with that, but Drew Eisenman is definitely going to be all right with a top 5 finish. And celebration surely going on. He earned that one tonight, Connor. That was not a fluke by any stretch. He went out there, he led a whole bunch of laps, make that 45. That's almost half the race that we ran here tonight. He led. And his return back to 3-wide, this has been a good, successful season for him so far, and certainly putting him as potentially a championship favorite with how he's been running the past couple weeks. I think everyone has to look at this number 4 and think, yeah, this is a guy we're going to have to beat at the end of the year. He gained about 13 spots after Richmond last week. He's only going to go farther up the points after today. He's going to be definitely within striking distance of getting close to that points lead right now. So he's definitely going to be a driver that you're going to have to be scared of going into the chase when we get there.
Now the burnouts. The Ford Thunder Chicken stretching its legs here and smoking more than a Texas barbecue. And celebrating Ford in Michigan. Here's a look at your race results. For Matt Grunberg, second place tonight will have to do. Eisenman back to fifth. The big disappointment, though, will have to be the number 97, Levi Zielinski, up in second with 10 to go. Fell all the way back to 11th spot to finish out the race. That'll be a big disappointment for him, I'm sure. And we'll speak with our top three here in just a few moments. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV, here now with Eric Mickey, driver of the number 4 Motorcraft Ford Thunder Chicken out there. Eric, a really strong race tonight. You led 45 laps en route to your win this season. It's got to feel good coming back to the series and doing pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these cars, everywhere I've raced them, they're a blast to race. Tonight was a blast. A lot of good, clean racing from everybody up front, so that was just a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to have the pace that I had tonight, especially during practice, but, you know, that's why you run the race. Don't know what you got until everything's on the line.
Tell me about this season so far. You're coming in a little bit late. You've won a race. You finished pretty well lately. Take me through the rest of this season. Is this a championship effort that you're starting here tonight, or is there more to it than that?
I'm hoping it's a championship effort, particularly now that I've been able to run out here with a win. Might end up finding myself in the broadcast booth here or there. Who knows how that's going to go. But, you know, just taking it week by week and trying to get the best finishes I can.
Eric, congratulations. Celebrate that one. We'll see you next time out here in 3 Wide.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to throw a thanks out there to Corey Lindsay. Farewell season of 3 Wide, at least for a little while here. And, you know, it's a lot to run a league of this caliber. With the things that go into setting this all up, and he does a hell of a job and always has. So, you know, all credit goes to him for being able to come out here and race with these guys in a nice, clean way.
All right. Thanks so much, Eric. We'll see you next week. Moving on now to Tanner Sharp, who finished in 3rd place tonight, battling Matt Grunberg till the end. Tanner, looked like you might have had pace to run down Eric Mickey, but just wasn't meant to be tonight. But certainly a move in the right direction with a podium this evening.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I think that, and we were gaining on them a little bit, but I think with that whole 3 Wide battling with the guys within that top 5 really burnt off our tires. Otherwise, we gained Eric Mickey earlier, and we passed him for the lead. So I knew I can gain on him, but I wasn't racing guys 3 Wide at that time either. So, but no, it was a good, strong performance here. That's what we need, and we'll continue to try to get good, consistent finishes out of this, and maybe that victory will come our way one day.
Well, in 2 weeks we head to Tsukuba. That's an interesting one. Your thoughts on that road course, and what are we thinking? How's that going to go?
All right, stay the heck out of trouble, and we're just going to bypass because I suck at road courses. So we'll just bypass. We'll just try to run the best we can, get a good finish out of it if we can get a good finish out of it, and worry about the ovals.
All right, we're going to worry about it next time. Tanner, good luck to you, and thanks for talking.
Yep, thank you.
Moving on now to Matt Grunberg. Came up just short tonight, 2nd place, 8/10 back. Might have had something for Eric there at the end. Began to run him down, but just ran out of laps. Take us through tonight and the battle from the back and the incredible, unstable racing we saw with these on-edge cars all evening.
We had a great strategy to start the race. Had about 50 laps on fuel. So we were going to try to one-stop it. Burnt off the tires a little too bad in the first run there. I made it to lap 48, and I had like 0% on the right front when I pitted. So I was just going to try to maybe it to the end there, and but then the caution came out and kind of threw that strategy out the window. It kind of helped though, because since I overdrove it the first run, and then I also missed my pit box during the green flag run there, allowed me to get back on cycle, and then it was just kind of tough to work my way through back after half of the race had already been gone from the back all the way to the front again. I think if the race had gone just a little bit longer, maybe 5 or 10 more laps, I think we could have got the 4 there. But all in all, good night. Kind of got bailed out by some cautions, but we'll move on from here.
All right, Matt. Good luck at Tsukuba. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And that's going to wrap things up for this evening here, Connor. Thoughts on Tsukuba in 2 weeks? That's a weird one, but it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a weird one. I don't even know where you start trying to set up a car for that. There's going to be a lot of contact, a lot of beating the bag, and I think at a smaller road course like that. So a lot of people are just going to try hard to keep the fenders on it, less than just, overall speed. You just got to keep the car clean, I think, for that. I believe it is a doubleheader in 2 weeks' time, so it's going to be very important to keep the car clean. I'm excited to see how those cars maneuver that type of track. It's going to be a wild one.
We'll see you next time in 2 weeks. Next stream we're going to see will be Thursday night, Scars Porsche Super Cup. We'll see you then.